It's been a while. Hi. I started work on this video a while back and felt really anxious about posting it, so I never finished it. But we're going to do that today. I hope you like it. So, it started with this joke that I need to provide for my wife and my 3 beautiful, fully grown children. I mean, they can't even afford good clothes or beautiful glamours. And we wanted a simple plan to figure out how to make Gil. This was really all in prep for the supposed 6.1 housing update. And the chance, the wonderful chance that we could get into the lottery system and maybe be allowed to purchase a house in Final Fantasy XIV. And I would be really excited for that because that would be a whole new way for me to waste my time in this game. And what comes with owning a house and purchasing one except needing absolutely massive amounts of Gil. So, to see if we could make money reselling items from vendor NPCs. You know, all those NPCs around town that you don't really talk to or know about. Yeah, a lot of them sell stuff, and it's not that expensive, and it turns out you can sell them on the market board for quite a bit more money in most cases. So, I set to making fat stacks of Gil with my wife Azami's expert assistance, and we went around town to essentially drop ship every single item sold by an NPC in Gridania. It worked, sort of. Let me give you the story of how it actually happened, and you can make your own decision as to whether this is a viable Gil generation route. It started with cleaning out our retainers to see how much we could make. I tracked about 3 retainers, which meant I could list up to 60 items. Remember that your retainer item limit is going to be your cap here, so of course people that can pay for more retainers will have an advantage in Gil making. Next came the data collection. Now, I assumed, hey, this might be a bit of a grind, but it won't be that bad. It's just putting numbers in a spreadsheet, right? I was so horribly wrong. I'm sitting there for like 30 minutes like a chump, typing in all of the information by hand after just staring at the NPC vendor the whole time, before my IRL partner comes in and says,
"Hey, why don't you just copy that information off of the wiki?"
He was right. That's really the way to go. So, speeding up the process a little more, we copy the information of the price the vendor sells, where they are, what their name is, what the item is, what the item type is, and their sale price off of the Final Fantasy XIV wiki. And there are definitely APIs out there that can pull this information and do pull this information. I am just doing this as a test to see if it works. I wanted to do it without using any APIs. I was trying to do it without using the wiki. It's not really possible to do it without using the wiki because Final Fantasy is weird about that third-party application thing. You know, if we try to stick to the vanilla game, we're all good. But, there might be an easier way to do this than what I did. And now that we had our spreadsheet of all 929 items that the vendors in Gridania sell, we did have a tedious part to do, which is where that API information would come in a little bit more helpful. We manually went and tracked the market board price for every single item on this list. It actually only took us like an hour to 2 hours to do. I wouldn't recommend doing it, but you know, you live and learn, and I wanted to see how long it would take. So now that we know what they sell for from the vendor, and we know what they sell for on the market board, we can just filter our snazzy little Excel spreadsheet by sale price and the difference between them. We do have a juicy little spot where some items don't have any market board listing, which is pretty nice because that means you get to choose the price. Now, of course, you always want to keep in mind what the market will bear.
What the market will bear. Market economics.
But you want to make sure your stuff is actually going to sell. So check the history to see what it sold for in the past and see what kind of a threshold you can get on the item. Usually the cap on that was like $30K, but if I'm only buying the item for $5K, maybe $10K max, and I'm making $30K, that's a lot of gil. That's a lot of profits. The other thing you want to do is only list one item at a time. You don't want to be competing with yourself and driving down the price. If you're the only listing, that means you're the only thing people can buy from, aside from that NPC that you bought it from. But I guess a lot of people just don't check. So as long as you're the only listing, you should have the say on the price there. And a lot of stuff did sell for around $30K, which was pretty impressive. But we focused mainly on the ones that didn't have a listing and the ones that had a high price difference. We started selling those. We tracked that price for about a week, competitively lowering the prices by 1 gil each time we were undercut. Which is, you know, there will be a debate on the ethics of undercutting in Final Fantasy. I'm not starting it. I just want my shit sold. So, but after about a week of selling our goods, our fine goods, handcrafted by NPCs, we were able to see how much we made. And in about a week, I made over 600K gil, which, now that I think about it, isn't that much in the long run. If you run dungeons and get materia for endgame content, you can make that much. You can make more than that. If you craft, you can make more than that. But this was a way to make gil without crafting, without running dungeons. It's just another way to do it. So, all in all, I think my 3 adult children are probably still going to be glamourless, but that's their problem. And with our side hustles and all the money I had been saving up, we did make enough to at least bid in for a house when that releases, which is great, and I look forward to it. Will I have enough to decorate the house? Probably not. We'll get to that gil generation when that time happens. Maybe a gardening video. Hey. You know, like this video enough, maybe I'll do an apartment gardening video. Maybe if we get a house, we'll do a housing gardening video. See what gil we can make in that market. But overall, I would say, you know, unless you have a lot of time on your hands and you like this kind of stuff, don't bother with it. Generating gil in Final Fantasy is more about finding a way that you enjoy to make gil, whether that be reselling things, crafting things, just grinding content, or hunting for rare loot, like doing Heaven on High and searching for that elusive dodo. There's a lot of different options, so find what works for you and go ahead and try it out. And maybe if you like this idea, you can try it out. But I'm sure it would be a lot easier if you used some of those APIs. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I am glad I finally made it, because now I can move on to something different. Yeah, I guess that's it. Have a good day. Bye!